So, about all that stuff I had you bring me. Turns out I don't need it as much as I thought I did when I was sleep-deprived and strung out.
Funny how much clarity comes from a nap.
Yeah. Anyway, I've put all those materials back in your chest. Along with a few other things Aurea and the band found cluttering the caravan.
Wow. Thanks, Kaz.
Don't mention it. Use it for whatever you want. Gear, weapons, fixing up the camp. I hate to do this when we're already dealing with something like 7 distinct major crises each day. I've got 2 pieces of bad news. Which one do you want to hear first?
First one. Absolutely.
Excellent choice. We have a stove problem. We use specially enchanted coals to maximize burn time and minimize weight, and we're dead out of them. And second, the stove itself is dented. Rather badly.
What? How did that happen?
I don't know. I don't do stove maintenance. I'm the logistics girl. Maybe Sev sat on it.
He's still got bum fur, so if he did, it wasn't on.
Regardless, this is a Dam and Sola fix. One problem each.
I'm not sure they're in the best place right now.
That's why I'm asking you. They both love you, and can be grown-ups for the good of the group. Aurea's already sick of salad.
I'm sorry.
For what?
You saw through the eye from the start, and I doubted you when I shouldn't have.
I have experience dealing with slimy, over-promising leaders, so foresight was on my side there.
I'm serious. I didn't realize he was capable of this.
No one could have predicted he would be manipulated so thoroughly. That level of incompetence is hard to foresee.
The Eye is the highest position of leadership within the Enclave. The most progressive place in the Maida.
One we've been told stories of our entire lives. It's become mythic.
The more time we spend here, the more I realize that those were practically fairy tales. I allowed myself to be blinded by his title. I need to be sharper next time. Hey, mind if we talk somewhere private?
Lead the way.
I won't be returning to expeditions. I've known for a while now, but I couldn't bring myself to admit it. My days as Point are over.
I thought you were recovering from your injury.
Not as well as I should be. That I got injured at all was a sign that I'm not as fast as I used to be. I should count myself lucky. Not many Points get a career this long, but I'm not ready for this to end. Especially here, of all places. What kind of legacy is it to reach the Enclave only to sit by the fire?
But you've had an incredible career. And it isn't ending just because you can't go on expeditions.
I know, but it's not the same. And some part of me was hoping to end on a big score. I thought if I found out who my father was, if he turned out to be some great weaver like my mother, it's silly.
Tell me.
I thought I could solidify my legacy in history. Make sense of what my own contributions have been, if anything at all.
You're an incredible weaver in your own right. You don't need impressive parents to prove that. And if you had to pick your last act as Point, isn't finding your way into the Enclave the biggest score of all? You're everything I want to be.
That's very kind. Maybe in time I'll make peace with what my career has been. But for now, it's too raw.
Is there anything I can do?
Unless you can give me a few years back. This is grief I'll need to sit with for a while.
I understand. I wish there was something I could do to help Aurea see herself the way I see her. Lane knows a thing or two about recording legacies.
Bryn, would you...
Check on Sev? Always. But how are you holding up?
I'm alright. Just worried about him, you know? He did the right thing in the end, and he seems to have come back to us for now, but all those issues that led him to the Eye in the first place, they aren't solved in a day.
He needs us now more than ever.
Exactly.
Ooh, you were really moving out there.
I was told time was of the essence.
Yeah, but you made it look easy. Maybe someday you could give classes to the novice scouts.
I'd be delighted. But I need permission to be a total hard-ass. That work?
Wins, yes. Ooh, we'll introduce you as Coach Bryn and you can wear like really tight pants.
You'd like that, wouldn't you?
No, I swear.
It's okay, Eric. I'm just teasing. But if you're gonna float opportunities to make you blush, I have to go for it. And more to the point, I'm game. We'll tackle it when the dust is all settled.
Hey, you. How's my favorite point doing?
Really well, like always. Thought I'd see how you were holding up.
Still reeling a little from the attack, but getting my feet back under me. Forces me to be up all day more often than I should. I should talk to Dharm about that, actually.
Dharm uses some kind of sleep aid. Lane could help you with that.
Oh, are they the secret weapon? I wondered how Dharm does it. I can stay up past noon regularly, but I wear down if I do it too much.
To be fair, I think that's just Dharm. Fueled by his love of enchantment and solar in equal measure. The scouts probably appreciate you being available all day, but that will wear you down if you're not careful. You must have a day watch head who fills in when you sleep.
Yes, but I can't resist getting involved when it's important. I'll talk to Lane. Maybe they have some extra tricks up their sleeve. Dharm and I have been running down the mystery of our alchemically odd plants and degraded scries. We've got a working hypothesis, but we're going to need to lean on you again to prove it.
You're right on top of this.
I have been taking notes from my favorite point. She has this habit where she just drags things forward by force of will.
I do, don't I? There's just so much to do. Why ask permission when the next step is right there? What's led you to the hypothesis?
Dharm's been digging into the scry and noticed some tiny changes in yours that he's not seen before. Lane used a few leftover petals from the Mirian's bloom to run more tests. You really have an incredibly talented team here.
As long as I don't have to do any more cross-swamp runs, count me in.
Worse, I'm afraid. We think the source of the problem might be the miasma. Dharm's theory is that it's slowly affecting the patterns inside the Enclave.
Our enchantments?
Everything. We've never been able to perceive or harvest them, but there's a school of thought that everything alive has a pattern in it. And if that pattern allows us to interact with and control magic, the theory goes that magic might be able to affect us in turn.
You think we're in danger?
Obviously, tangles are inherently dangerous, but that's the question we want to answer. Could they affect the creatures here in more subtle ways? Could too much magic explain the Spitfire's behavior? If so, we have to worry there might be long-term effects on all of us.
Spirits. How do we prove it?
You've been collecting resonance for all your time in here, as have our enchanters. That data gives us a baseline. What he needs, then, is a comparison resonance harvested during a miasma from any of the natural beasts. Arcs won't help, alas.
Right. I'll tackle it as soon as I can.
That tree still ripe with inspiration, Lane?
Oh, yeah.
I'm with you, Bryn. Didn't expect the miasma to be so intense over the scry.
You get used to it. Just have to use a more gentle touch and feel the way it slides.
What's the verdict with the resonance comparison, Storm? Are we all doomed?
Not doomed, no. But I have every reason to be concerned. Tangles only form in areas of intense magical concentration. That they're so common here in the Enclave makes it clear that this place is overflowing with magic. Have you ever blown into a bladder until it pops? I worry that's where we're headed.
No. Have you?
Ah. Well, I am from Renland.
The patterns did show signs of change then.
Subtle but present. What was intriguing was watching them relax over time, as if the miasma caused them to contract like a muscle.
So things might recover if we could bring an end to the tangles?
I think so. How exactly we pursue that agenda, I'm not sure, but we have several leads we can pursue.
We have to tell the Axel, though. She needs to know about this so we can take every precaution.
Oh. We?
Yeah. It's time. Meet you there.
Ah, good. We're all here.
Yes, we're here to talk about the stove.
Anyway, stove's not working. Campfire sucks by comparison. How are we fixing this?
Yes, please, let's talk about the stove.
How did we run out of coal anyway? I spent 2 days in Varentia working on that last batch.
Sure. But then we ended up in the Enclave. So now we need to find more. Also in the Enclave.
I don't easily have the materials to process another batch. But the temple might have some. I hate to admit it, but that was the one really useful thing I took out of my time with the Church of the Hallowed Pyre. They know their fuels.
Great! Temple. But what good's coal without a proper place to burn it for cooking? Sola?
If we're able to find coal like before, then it'll just be a case of reforming and reinforcing the old stove. I will need a few materials. I'll draft up a list for Bryn.
Good. Excellent. We're moments away from hot food. Go team!
So I'll...
Go team!
It certainly is disturbing to think an enchantment can warp.
Any sign of our scry reacting, like the Hearthsider ones?
None, but it might be a matter of time. Who knows what a year or a decade might bring? We'll have to watch closely. Oh, that's rather exciting now I think of it.
This place never fails to impress. Just imagine it before the veil went up. Wouldn't have had to scavenge volcanically treated coal at all.
One never quite forgets that smell.
Temple coal taking you back?
Unfortunately, yes. It conjures up images of stern keepers, hot stuffy vestibules, and ranted invective posing as sermons on the evils of magic. It was everywhere in Renland. The church has the nation in a stranglehold, and so I left. At considerable speed. I don't think I really stopped running at all until... well...
Until you met the love of your life.
yes. I thought so. I still hope so.
It's been a strain on you both.
I'm sure everyone has noticed.
Need an ear?
Maybe. It's clear she yearns to just stay here in the Enclave, even if we brought down the veil. But I find comfort in the road. It has few preachers and no community dedicated to strangling out individuality.
Worried if you stop moving that it will catch up with you.
I suppose I am still running in a way.
Does she know that?
It's not something I want to burden her with.
She's strong. In a lot of ways. Something to think about.
Right. Yes, I shall.
Do you mind if I borrow a quill?
Another one.
Yes, please.
Fine.
It's significantly easier to do a repair than working up a new suit of armor from scratch. I'm going to go soft.
We could use some really intricate chandeliers to brighten up the place.
Casman would be happy. Though, I strongly suspect this entire thing is an elaborate ruse to get Dharm and I talking.
It's not like her to run out of things, it's true. Is it working, do you think?
I don't know. The intentions are good, but I'm hurting.
I think you both are.
Yes. But I'm the one who's been following his dream of wandering the Maida for years. And the moment I say, hey, maybe we could do something else, he shuts down.
You're right. That doesn't seem fair.
It isn't.
He didn't have a great reaction to what you said, it's true. But at the same time, he was rather caught off guard.
Well, perhaps it was a little abrupt.
Maybe he deserves a chance to have a second reaction?
You're as bad as Casman. Speaking of, we should see her and present the fruits of our labors.
I had a chance to run a test, and I would say our stove is cooking better than ever. Keeps the heat well, burns clean, a job well done.
Dom's always been very good at treating that kind of coal. Must be the Wren in him.
Hardly. No, I simply find my inspiration in...
I think...
Shh. Sola, I have an idea.
Oh?
Tarmakind uses exceptionally precise temperatures to work the metal, yes? Sometimes exceptionally high?
I mean, yes, but...
I finished Xavier's journals. He was quite thorough and talked extensively about working with the Halopai priests.
Nothing quite helps me commune with the flames like someone slamming a hammer into metal.
You'd be surprised. But I imagine Dom means the shrine underground. I saw it mentioned too.
Precisely. And perhaps we could lean on our intrepid point to investigate.
Of course. I'd be happy to.
They must have kept records. Samples, perhaps.
I really appreciate this.
The spindle sacrificed everything for us. We could have lost Bryn just as quickly as we lost her.
We didn't, though.
Is that bottled magma?
I've got one. I can't believe it's still warm. And you can feel the magic pulsing through it.
I wonder if proximity to the coral has affected it in some way. Intriguing to think of weaver smiths and priests working side by side down here.
The preachers you grew up with would launch an hour-long diatribe at the very thought, yeah?
An hour would just be the introduction.
This is promising. Detailed smithing logs with Xavier's name on them. Lots of sketched out designs, mostly in the margins.
Doodles always help me think too.
I think that's all I'm going to find down here. Get your research hat ready, Lane. There's a lot.
I do not need a hat. This is really very clever.
You figured it out then?
Yes, Xavier's idea was to use an alchemical process similar to what Dharm and I just did to treat the coals. Elements left over from weaving flame strands distilled and used to treat magma.
Literal magma? The blood of the earth?
Enchanted magma. Measured precisely from one of Xavier's containers, he could delicately control temperature in a forge or foundry.
Sola will be over the moon. I'll let her know.
And I'll collate the more technical details. They'll be ready when she is. I've been running more tests on the bloom you recovered.
You didn't need it all for Dharm's tools?
No, thankfully. We had a number of false starts with the alchemical processes, but we had enough petals even then. It does speak to the issue, though. I tried every control I could think of, and can only conclude that the bloom itself is off.
Could it just have been that one flower?
Perhaps. Either way, it warrants further study. But Arakim's offered to help us collect more, so it won't impact you.
Magma? Can you believe it?
Is it not lava?
I thought it was only lava if it bubbled up from underground. But now I'll have to ask Lane.
You heard the news then?
Oh, I'm sorry, Bryn. We ruined the surprise.
It's fine. Just nice to see you so happy.
We're confident that between the two of us, we can make Xavier's plan work.
And I'm keen to try it out. I was up sketching all night, and I have an idea for some armor to act as a test. If it works, we'll gather more. The veil has to open someday, and with this magma, we could be on the road for months.
Or maybe we'll stay. Either option provides you many potential students.
Or maybe, just maybe,
We could do both.
we'll make it work. After we get this bloody enclave sorted out. Right, Bryn?
I have every faith we will.
So, I strongly suspect shenanigans, but also thank you.
About the stove?
Oh, absolutely. But shenanigans almost always come from a place of love.
Or lead to one?
Well said. And this forge is going to be invaluable, so we all benefit, including the future students I'm imagining up.
Any standouts in your illusory class?
There's a shy, red-headed lad named Carlos. He's going to go far. I just know it. Worth the materials, I'd say.
So, Coach Ring? Oh no.
How tight were the pants exactly, Aragon?
Maybe it's the next Enclave innovation. Why enchant when you can snug and seam?
I swear, you two are worse for hazing than my group mates.
It's nice to have the camp stove working properly again. Even if it took Casmin quietly tossing our coal supply into the hollow one night to make it happen.
Wait, she did?
Maybe I shouldn't have mentioned that. But Dharm and Solar have reconciled, which I suspect was her whole plan, so hopefully it's okay. Still, Kaz doesn't like for people to know she's a romantic at heart.
Oh, well, I am very glad you mentioned this. Thank you, Lane.
Just go easy on the teasing. I don't want her to serve my stew cold all week.
Lane, I was wondering if you could help me with something.
What is it?
Well, it turns out Oria's search for her father wasn't just about finding her family.
Crusades into one's lineage rarely are. Let me guess. She didn't find the missing piece of herself that she hoped she would, and now she's having an existential crisis.
Yeah, that kind of sums it up.
It happens. So, what has all this really been about?
She knows she needs to retire, and she's struggling with what her legacy has been.
Ah, isn't it strange how the most accomplished people never seem to recognize their own success?
Yeah, I was hoping you could help with that. After all, isn't chronicling a legacy your specialty?
We could certainly commemorate her career with a written account. A lovely idea. I would suggest we personalize it with anecdotes from each of our traveling companions, as they've been in Oria's band longer than you or I. Would you interview them for me? Legacies may be my specialty, but you might have the leg up when it comes to connecting with others.
Sure, I can do that. Any tips on what to ask them?
Ask whatever you like. Maybe you want a few humorous stories in the mix? Or some readers prefer heartfelt. Why don't I start by interviewing you?
Me?
Of course, we'll need your input. What has Aurea meant to you?
Before Aurea, I didn't really have much of a mentor when it came to weaving. Sure, I picked up things from my old band, but she takes passing on knowledge so seriously. And her love of our culture comes through in how she teaches.
Great. I'll transcribe that and start her biography. Take notes when you speak to the others and come back to me.
Bryn, I was just thinking about how we managed to trap the heat of molten rock itself.
And you and your wife seem through a complicated patch?
I never doubted we would find a way through. This time was different than the other spats we've had. I am very grateful for your help. I would not know what to do without Sola. She is very much my guiding star.
You're welcome, you big romantic. Just keep talking to her, and the nights will be cloudless.
Indeed. Indeed. You know, a lot of points struggle with transitioning into a Watcher's role full-time. And there's never been a point more passionate than Aurea.
I know. I hope this eases her pain.
I'm sure it will. Now, what can I do to help?
We'll definitely highlight Aurea's accomplishments, but I'm wondering if you've got any lighter stories to share.
Oh, there was this one time I had to borrow a pair of her trousers after an experiment went awry. Well, borrowed without asking first.
So you stole her trousers? And they fit you?
It was wash day, and I was trying to accelerate the drying process with a little magical heat. When all my clothes went up in flames, no one else in the camp would let me touch theirs. So I borrowed a pair from Aurea while she was out on an expedition, hoping to find a solution before she returned. Alas, I did not. When she came back, she simply cocked a brow and said they looked better on me than her. I still have those trousers. They're comfortable, so I wear them on wash day for a laugh. And if I have to belt them above my ribs, so be it.
Thanks for sharing, Dom.
I haven't known Aurea for as long as the others, but she's done a lot for me. I'd like to help with your project if I can.
Of course, Sev.
What do you want to know?
You said Aurea has done a lot for you. Tell me more about that.
After everything that's happened, everything I've done, she's just accepted me as part of the band. Until now, my position in life has always felt precarious. To just be accepted, no questions asked by someone like her. It means everything. She's given me a home. All of you have.
You'll always have one with us.
For the first time in my life, I actually believe that.
Thanks, Sev.
Glad to be of service.
Bryn, I love what you're doing for Aurea. How can I help?
You've been in the Weaver Band the longest. How do you think Aurea has changed throughout her career?
To be a point for as long as Aurea has is extremely rare. The knowledge she's acquired at a time when Weavers have lost so much is invaluable. She's always been passionate about recovering what was lost since the Surge. Though, I think feeling alone in that ambition has taken a toll on her over the years.
In what way?
Not all weavers are in this for our collective culture the way Arya is. Many of them only seek personal glory. When Casmond didn't work out as her replacement point, she became worried she might never find someone that shared her vision for this band. It meant a lot when she finally found you.
Wow. Thank you, Sola.
Happy to help.
Your idea to commemorate Arya's career with Lane is lovely. How can I help?
If you were to summarize Arya's influence on your life, what would that be?
Arya saved me from serious burnout with the Udain relief efforts. Not to mention, saving me from myself a second time here in the Enclave. I don't know if I'd still be here without her. Or any of you, for that matter. Anyway, the longer I worked the relief ships, the worse the fatigue hit me. And I think that had become my entire identity. Barely a few minutes into meeting me, Arya asked if I ever thought of becoming a weaver. I thought she was mad. But I guess she had observed me giving orders and organizing shipments on the docks all morning. By the end of our conversation, I had a new purpose and a home in our band.
That's perfect. Thank you for sharing.
My pleasure.
Ugh, my hand is cramped. But the account of Arya's career is finished.
Great. I'll gather everyone if you're ready to present it.
I'll need to ice my quill hand. But, of course.
Let's hope she likes this.
She will.
What's going on?
We wanted to present the latest addition to Lane's archive to you, together. We all contributed, though credit goes to Lane for compiling and writing it.
I've titled it A True and Personal Account of Arya Silverbeak Harpinet.
What is going on?
We wanted to do something special to commemorate your time as Point.
You didn't have to do all this.
We did. You've done more for each of us time and time again.
No one is more deserving of a place in Weaver history than you, warrior.
So we took it upon ourselves to write you one.
As a thank you for everything.
I don't know what to say.
Lane, why don't you read just the opening?
Aurea Silverbeak, as she came to be known, was born to Sharian Harpenay and Eugenius Osphine inside the Enclave just before the Surge.
Osphine.
Though she never knew her father, her mother hoped Aurea would follow in her footsteps as a skilled enchantress within the Maida. But Aurea decided to become a point, blazing her own trail. Something she would continue to do throughout her career, bigger and bolder each time. We'll let you read the rest on your own.
We hope this account will help you see yourself and your accomplishments the way we see you.
I'm at a loss. All I can say right now is thank you.
Bryn, I was so moved by what you did for Aurea. It's clear she means a lot to all of you.
Thank you. She does.
But her father, Eugenius Osphine, I know who he is.
You do?
Yes, and I want you to make an offering for his grave. I can give you a key swatch to reach it.
Wait, you know where it is?
I do. And I'm sure Aurea would love to watch you visit on the scry.
Okay, but shouldn't we tell her?
Trust me, this is something you should show her directly. Come back when you've got the offering and I'll give you the key swatch.
So, I was having a chat with Lane.
Oh?
Said something about you stashing coal outside the camp.
Oh, gods, they saw that?
Sure did.
Oh, I was so careful. Listen, Bryn, you know why I did it, right?
Because our enchanter and smith need to keep working together.
Yes, and they need to keep talking. They're so good together. So, I did what I had to. Just don't tell anyone, okay?
Kaz,
Yeah?
I think everyone knows. Except maybe Dom.
Gods, that's embarrassing.
You might want to sneak that coal back into the stocks at some point.
Already did. It was distracting to know the count was wrong.
One of Aurea's feathers would be beautiful as part of the offering for her father's grave. An offering for Eugenius. Time to talk to Arik.
By the way, did you hear what Aurea said to me?
No?
I guess you can call me Madame Osphine.
No!
Oh, yes. You are a smart, capable, and amazing person. But you're a menace.
I've made an offering for Eugenius's grave.
Great. Here's the key swatch to his farm. That's where he was buried. I'll join Aurea at the scry when you arrive.
Are you sure you don't want to be the one to place the offering? This was your idea, after all.
It will be more meaningful for her if it's you. Trust me.
All right. Thank you for this.
What is this place?
Osvine Pastures. Your father's farm. I thought you'd want to see it for yourself.
My father lived here.
More than lived. He gave his blood, sweat, and tears for the Enclave here. Eugenius Osvine may not have a statue in Denevron for excellence in weaving or kissing the eye's arse, but he kept the surviving weavers afloat during the aftermath of the Surge.
I had no idea.
After the Surge, he only kept enough produce to take care of himself and his workers. The rest went to weavers across the Enclave, and his generosity led to many helping him in return.
I can't believe he did so much for the Enclave.
He was a true leader, if not in the most traditional way. A community of workers formed around him, including ex-points, who would transport his food across the Enclave in these caravans. Many of whom went on to form the Scouts as an organization that still exists within Cassidy's Hold today.
So that's how you know all this.
Before the Arcs began malfunctioning, they were integral to farming across the Enclave. Many farmers refused to stop using them because of their efficiency, even at the risk of their farmhands being attacked. But your father scrapped his arcs as soon as he got wind of the first malfunction to keep his workers safe.
That can't have been an easy decision.
But he made it, anyway.
Everyone thought he was mad at the time, but in a few months when the attacks became widespread, his forethought was recognized. After the Surge, aftershocks destroyed many farms, including this one. Tangles spread across the land, crops began to die. While other farmers abandoned their livelihood, Eugenius never did. He had to rebuild many times, but he weathered every storm.
Wow. My mother told me he was driven.
Of all his workers, Eugenius was said to be the first one in the field each morning and the last to leave at night.
He sounds a lot like you, Aurea. This looks like a wooden carving of your mother, Aurea.
Please, bring it back for me.
Of course. This must be your father's grave, Aurea. I'll place an offering here. It certainly won't be lonely. Are all these offerings for Eugenius, Eric? Some of the flowers are fresh.
The Scouts continue to take care of his grave to this day, to honor all the sacrifices he made for the Enclave.
He must have been an incredible man.
This is so much more than I ever could have expected. Thank you for showing me, Eric. Truly. And Bryn, when you come back to camp, there's something I need to do.
And then the priest says, that's not how you extinguish the holy flame.
I thought you never extinguished the holy flame.
They make certain exceptions when it threatens centuries-old tapestries.
You never talked about your time in the church.
They're not happy memories.
No, but they're yours.
Then let's not fight again so I have more time to share them.
That's unreasonable. Let's just make sure we're talking.
Of course, my love. After all, I love you like I love you.
I love you too.
All right, everyone. It's no secret that my role in our band is changing. What each of you has done to help me find peace in that is more than anyone deserves. And the time has come for me to say that serving each of you as point has been just... Being your point has been the privilege of my life. I've loved every minute of it. But in every ending, there's a new beginning. She's been doing the job since we got here, and the time has come for us to congratulate Bryn on formally becoming your point.
Well deserved.
She's been exceptional. We're in great hands.
Bryn, care to say a few words?
Oria, you brought me into your band with the promise of mentoring me. And it's been more than I ever dreamed. If I can become half the point you've been, I will be happy.
It's crazy to think I ever doubted you. But you were made for this. I'd follow you anywhere.
I couldn't ask for someone better to pass the torch to.
Thank you, Oria. That means everything.
You earned it. And I should have done it a while ago. It was just hard to let go. What my father did for the Enclave is... well, it's more than I could hope to achieve. It's funny. My mother never lied about who he was, but she did leave a lot out.
Sounds like he was the hero she described, if not in the way you expected. But from where I'm standing, he seems more deserving of a statue than most.
Yes. You know I never looked down on my father for being a farmer, right? My reaction to finding out his identity for the first time wasn't about his job, or him not being who I wanted or expected him to be. It was about me, not being who I thought I wanted to be. But perhaps my way of measuring success has been far too narrow all these years. And I can't help but wonder if my mother's was too. If that might be why she never told me who he was.
Maybe that was a part of it.
It wasn't like she put pressure on me, but there were always unspoken expectations. I needed to perform. And I'm grateful to her for that. I wouldn't have the career I've had if it weren't for her. She was a great mentor. But perhaps there's a cycle to break when it comes to how my family has defined its legacy.
I think that's beautiful.
You do?
Of course. I told you I look up to you. I can't wait to learn as much from this phase of your career as I have from all the others.
Me too.